30 seconds into the flight. Atlanta's almost 2 miles in altitude, almost 6 miles downrange from the Kennedy Space Center already, traveling 500 miles an hour.
So the next step is the getting started. So getting started is, it's all about branding. It's all about using your strengths. It's also finding out what your weaknesses are. And you really need to know your strengths and weaknesses when owning a business. It's imperative that you look at yourself through somebody else's eyes. And the easiest way to do that is through a SWOT analysis. So if you're not, if you're uncommon, if you're not common, I don't know what I'm trying to say here, sorry. If a SWOT analysis isn't something that you're aware of, we do go through it, but I mean, there's plenty of stuff on YouTube as well that you can get familiar with it to see where you are in your business as well. And I think it's a very valuable tool to do in your business. So I've done it for the car seat side of my business, and it lays out your strengths and weaknesses and where you're going. So it's a really good tool. So again, we get some consultants in to talk about these sorts of things. I'm not a whiz bang on media marketing, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube. I've had to learn a little bit about these, and I'm still learning. So that's why it's not just me that will be assisting through this program. We'll be having the specialists in those areas come in and discuss it. And the beauty about that is that then you get to see the face and hear them and see if they fit with you as well. And then they become consultants for the Kasi Nation. So it's it's sort of that breaking down those barriers. And then they also now they understand our industry. That's why they're doing this for us. And you're not trying to explain to them the industry before you get into what you're trying to explain to them. And so it's a very good way to get these candid conversations going. So once we've got our business structure set up, we know who we're going to target, our marketing strategies. We look at, are we going to hire? We're doing this ourselves. So do we need a recruitment agency? Are we going to do it ourselves? Again, it comes back to if we're going to do it ourselves or even a recruitment agency, we have to have all our ducks in an order. Again, what we said, the job description, the processes on how you're going to hire, those sorts of things. The next part is your paperwork, getting your paperwork right. So this is the fourth stage of the framework, and your paperwork is very important. I've seen over my time a lot of people that get caught out because their paperwork isn't right. The same with WHS. So unfortunately for business owners, we have the obligation to pay for WHS, and it's not cheap. It's a very expensive episode. The idea behind WHS is that you get as close to 100% compliant as reasonably possible. To get to 100% compliant and stay 100% compliant 100% of the time will cost an absolute monster. So think about that for a minute. If you've got a staff member going to a job, what are the hazards of them driving? The hazards of them getting the equipment out, the hazards of them on site, using chemicals, heat. So how can you afford to implement safety around everything? It's impossible. But that's what insurance is for. So what we're trying to do with Kasi is we want to get a group of people sign a document, and we want to go to these insurance companies and have people qualified in WHS, understand their legal rights, and a few other things through education courses, seminars, and see if we can lower our risk. So lower our cost to the insurance companies as well as a business owner. So we're starting to get value out of our membership then. And it's also bringing our industry up at the same time. So by saying that, how often when you employ a new staff member, do you give them a proper induction? So at Kasi, what we've done is we've built inductions for staff members, for new staff members, for existing staff members, and then it's all documentationable. So it's all done online. They get a login. They also, you can see where they're up to with their training, their WHS, other training modules that you put on. And it's a way to, if something happens, to show the authorities that, hey, I've gone down this pathway, I've done this training, they've watched it, they've signed off on it, here's the documentation, and you're lowering your risk every time that you do that. The problem is that we don't have the time to do that. It's expensive, we don't have the time, and who has the energy to do that every day, plus work? So the idea behind Kasi is to help deliver those services for you as a business owner, so you don't have to do that. It's done in the system. You just have to make sure that they apply themselves, which you can simply do. There's a bar that you can see where they're up to and what they've done. And so we bring in a consultant about that as well. We have a very good guy that trains WHS on a day-to-day basis. And again, I've worked with him now for a couple of months, so he can then understand our industry, because every industry is different. So you can see where we're going with this. There's a clear progression line of the start of the business through the lifetime of your business. And this is ongoing. And again, the cleaning and restoration industry is a very transit industry. Mind me for a sec. And so we're always having, it seems to be a lot of people coming in all the time. And I'm no different to anybody else. You employ people, it doesn't work out for whatever reason, especially with restoration. Restoration is very hard on people that don't understand the game. It's not a 9-to-5 job, and my apologies, my phone was ringing. It's not a 9-to-5 job. It's an on-call 24/7, 365 a day job. And, you know, you put into situations that normal people don't understand. You go into a property that someone's livelihood, their biggest investment, has had an issue. It might have had a fire, a flood, mold issues. Someone may have died. And so there's a lot of pressures put on that technician to be able to speak right, document, follow the processes that the business has set out, and also their training, follow the training that's been provided, and speak to the client, show empathy. You know, they might have been in the middle of dinner, they've just worked 60 hours for the week, it's Sunday night, it's 7 o'clock, and they're just getting called out for a job. Nobody's happy about that. Everybody likes their downtime. No one loves to work. We work because we have no other choice. If we want to get ahead in life, we have to work. Some of us get lucky and most of us don't. So, you know, so we have to ensure that our employees are looked after. So we talk about that as well. We talk about the management systems, your administration systems. We talk about on the cleaning sector, we divide up the sectors. So there's residential and commercial. There's also, you know, general cleaners, bomb cleaners, builder cleaners, specialized cleaners. So there's a lot of different cleaners as well with all different needs. But at the end of the day, we're all under the same banner. We all want to go to work. We want to do something that is valuable and earn a good dollar. So part of what we do is we look at that culture in the business. And that comes back down to it's not always monetary. I've tried increasing people's wages, and at the end of the day, the problem is that they're back on a new wage, but their habits don't change. So they're the same person, just getting paid more money now. And so, how many times do you bump their wage up before you realise that it's just a person? Money is not, the answer to a good staff member. Culture can be the answer for that. And look, sometimes it may cost you a little bit of money to create culture. That might be a barbecue every couple of weeks. So it might cost you a barbecue, might cost you some meat, some salads. Maybe you pay them a wage for an hour. So there is cost there for the business, but we look at what are you getting back for that cost. So we look at culture in the business as well.